All right, good. So we're gonna look at, like continuing with the guard passing theme, we're gonna look at passing some butterfly guard today. So first thing we're gonna do, so if Matt's in a decent butterfly guard position, he's gonna have his head in front of his hips and he's gonna be in position like this. What I need to do is I need to try to get him flat. Whenever he's in this sort of position, if he's able to get like any sort of underhook or start leaning to the side, then we're gonna start being in trouble as far as being swept. So I need to try to get him flat, and I need to try to get his heels as close to his butt as possible so that we nullify that butterfly as much as possible. And then that's where we're going to work from with some of our passes today. So obviously we're going to be doing a bit of hand fighting. So we're fighting. I'm going to try to create some space, and head position is going to be really important for me on this. So when I put my head in, it's really important that my head is below his head. If he's able to keep his head in below mine, he's got a really solid position. It's going to be difficult for me to move him backwards. Whereas if I get my head underneath his chin, it's easier for me to be able to push and collapse his posture back. But it is also important the position that I put my head in. So if I come in and I put my head too low and I start driving forwards, then I'm just asking to be guillotined, or other like loop chokes, etc. So it's important that when I put my head in, it goes underneath his chin, but I keep my forehead to his chest. So we're gonna swim in under those arms. We're gonna kind of like headbutt him in the chest, using that pressure of our head to move him forward until we get him flat. And then we're trying to pin his legs to his butt. Pulling my elbows in nice and tight. Obviously, if we start flaring elbows, it's going to be easy for him to start attacking and start creating space again. So arms in nice and tight. So the first one that we're going to look at is just a nice simple hop over the top of one of the legs. I'm going to take one of my arms. I'm going to come down. You can either grab hold of the ankle or you can grab hold of the trousers. If they've got trousers on, I always prefer the trouser grip because I feel like I've got a better grip over it, but grabbing hold of the ankle is absolutely fine as well. So we're going to grab hold of whatever we can, and we're going to start to push that foot down to the floor. I'm going to put my head to the opposite side, base my hand onto the floor, and then we're going to lift the hips, and we're just going to do a little cartwheel over the top. Make sure that as we cartwheel over the top, you see how my arm is kind of attached to his leg. As I jump over, I'm going to collapse and kill his hips off to the side by using my arm to push in. So, head down to the side, base the hand onto the floor. We're going to lift, cartwheel, push his legs out the way. And then like we have done for other guard passes, I like to drive my knee into the leg to kill the hips, in nice and tight. And then when we're ready, move our way up for the pass. So if you start from sitting again. So we're going to do a bit of hand fighting, swim to the inside. We're going to put our forehead in, make sure that we don't dip our chin down, drive forwards until we can get our partner flat. Pin those heels in, grab hold of the trousers or ankle, head to the opposite side, base the hand, up to the toes, little cartwheel. 1, 2, push the legs out the way, drive in, kill the hips to the side. All right, so a nice, simple one to start. 1, 2, 3, let's do it. Right, so for the next one, to be honest, like this next one is sort of more my sort of scene. A bit more pressure to the pass, a little bit more control over our partner. So we get into the same position, we drive our partner flat, and what we're gonna initially look to do is isolate one of these legs. So in nice and tight, we kill to the hips, we're just gonna lean to one side slightly, and then we're gonna kick this leg back as far as we can, and then we're gonna bring that in, and we're gonna put it against the shin. So now I'm on my knees, but I've taken myself away from one of the butterfly hooks, and I'm using both of my quads just to keep his second hook nice and tight to his hips. Now I wanna be able to control this foot in some way. Now you can do that a couple of different ways. Number one way, if you've got long enough arms just to reach around, grab hold of some toes and just pull the toes in, then that works nicely. Or another way that I quite like is to take this arm to the inside, and we're just going to put our bicep or elbow over the top of the toes, reach, we're going to find some gi, and then just pin it nice and tight. So it kind of turns the pass into like an over-under pass. Then we're going to take this arm and we're going to hide the arm away so he's not able to attack it. If I leave this arm like out and free, he can still sit up and he's got like more options. So I'm going to tuck in, put my bicep against the quad, and then I'm going to look to step over the top of his knee. So just from this position, step over the top. Now we basically have like this over-under pass position, right? Chin is going to look down towards the hips. We're going to create lots of pressure with our shoulder, and when we're ready, we're going to move around, step off of the knee, bring our leg in. Up to you whether you want to keep this grip and keep his leg pinned or not, or whether we want to bail on that and do similar to what we did before and push the legs up off to the side. So here, when we're ready, we're going to take one of the legs, kick back, bring in. We could, if we're having trouble and we feel a little bit in danger from still following, we can take this hand and just hold this down. Kick back. Hold the toes, then hide the arm. If you need to, you can sprawl a little bit to make the knee a little lower. If his knee's still pointing up towards the ceiling, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to go over the top. So sprawl, step over, lots of pressure with our shoulder. Kill the hips and through. Again here, we're trying to isolate one of the legs. Kick, isolate. Bicep against the toes, grip, hide the near side arm so we can't attack it. We're looking down towards the hip, using our shoulder to pressure into the middle of the body. Step over the knee. And make our way up for the pass. All right, so the last one was a little bit more dynamic, jumping over. This one, a lot more about the pressure that we're creating. All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. I fit 2 more in. The next one, again, we're gonna look at pressure, and then the last one we're gonna look at, it's kind of like a gambling one, but often works if you do it well. So let's look at the pressure one first. So we're gonna look at a body lock pass from this position. So again, important my head position. I'm trying to put my head up underneath the jaw. Sometimes that can be difficult to get that high depending on body types, but I'm trying to get my head and push it in underneath the jaw here, and I'm looking to pressure forwards enough to lift his hips off the ground. When I lift his hips off the ground, I'm gonna body lock around, but I want to be body locked as low as possible around the hips so that it somewhat nullifies his butterflies. If I go high up around the back, then he's still able to have a bit of leverage with those legs working. So as we push forwards here, I'm going to look to drive and push my head in, push so much that I lift his hips off the ground and I get this lock underneath the hips. So you see how I'm like pushing my head into his head. I'm trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible, and I'm pinching my elbows in so I'm nice and tight. Now, obviously this can still be a bit of precarious. If I kind of just stay here and he's able to lift up one of those legs and maybe try to get some sort of lift, he might get it. So I'm going to immediately start to take myself to one side. Then I'm going to try to step over the top of that low knee. Don't need to do anything special. Just take your leg, step over the top of the knee. Now, if I try to pass here and I try to lift this leg off, because of the position of his body, he can lift, 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 and still continue to get the sweep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the opposite side. So now when he tries to kick that leg in, there's not as much height which he can get on his leg, so it's easier for me to kick the leg off, kill the hips, and complete my pass. Really important that we get his body in the right position. Otherwise, we're just going to create the sweep for them. So, pressure forwards. Get his hips off the ground. We're going to reach under, lock. Go to one side. Step and clear the knee. Go to the other side. Try to kick that leg in. Try to follow that leg. A lot easier for me to step off round. Can you put that second one in again? So, if I stay this side, now try and kick it off. A lot easier sweep just purely because of the way that his body is positioned. So one more time, we're going to push forwards. Try to get his hips off the floor. Lock it nice and tight. One side, go over the knee. Step to the other side, flick the leg off, complete the pass. The more pressure he's feeling, the more uncomfortable he is, the better we're doing it. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. All right, so this last one we're gonna do is kind of like your Hail Mary type pass. You might like it, you might not like it. It's got me past this position more times than I can count. But if you do it slightly wrong or your partner's wise to it, sometimes it can go wrong. They can lift their legs and you end up getting flipped. And so, like I said, it's kind of like Hail Mary. It's not probably the one that I would do at the start of a tournament fight, but maybe 30 seconds left, I have to pass, we're going for it. So same position. On the first one that we did, we controlled the near side trousers. What my goal is to actually reach across and grab the far side trousers. So I kind of like pin both legs in, and this is going to help me consolidate the position once I get to the top. So once we're here, down and nice and low, keep everything nice and pinned, we're going to reach under. You can grab the ankle, but like I said, if we've got the gi trousers on, it's a better grip for us. We're going to put our head to this side. Really important that I put my head to the correct side, because my feet are going to end up over here. If I put my head this side and my feet end up over here, I don't have any body control. So I'm going to put my head to this side, I'm going to come up to my toes, and I'm looking to basically like forward roll or flip and put my feet here. So come up to my toes and flip. This grip that I've now got on the trousers, I'm going to use that to pull myself and spin back in, get control of the hips, and make the pass. So again, here, reach under. I'm going to try to grab hold of the trousers if we can. Head to the side, base the hand down, come up to the toes so we're ready. Make sure you don't go straight, because we're going to land straight on top of their head. It's going to be an angle. Up, angle over. Don't let your hips drop, because now he's able to come back up. Oop. Good pressure. Spin and control. One more time. Make the grip through, head to the side, jump over, spin back in. All right, last one. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it.